Growing up, I always had these strong passions, these strong urges to make and to create and to be messy and play. And the older I got, the more rational things got. And playing and making a mess and experimenting and failing, there's no time for that. And the older I got, the more serious things got. A couple of years ago, I started having a recurring dream about a white room. The white room had concrete floors, these really tall white walls. And in my dream, I would go and I would sit on this floor and I would be filled with the most unbelievable sense of peace and calm. And that was it. It wasn't until a friend pointed it out, like that there might be some intelligence in this dream and following this dream, I decided to give it a go. I just kept searching and I kept searching, and one day I saw it. I move in a couple weeks later, and on my very first night there, I go and I sit down in the middle of the floor to recreate this blissful moment from my dream. And unexpectedly, I began to panic. And I began to look around the room, and it just felt like all of my fears were surfacing. I felt incredibly vulnerable, I felt incredibly confused, and I just wondered what was going on, what was this all about? So I decided to ask the room that had called me to it, why am I here? And as clear as day, the room replied to me, it's time to paint. There is something about walking up to a blank canvas and just falling in love with a part of it. A lot of my process is led following these playful moments, following my own curiosity within the process. And you're really trying to find that place where you silence your inner critic. And once you can move into that place beyond thoughts or beyond words, that's when the most powerful work emerges, because you just get out of your own way. Eventually, I found myself needing to be out of my space, out of the white room from my dreams for some extended period of time. And I got really nervous. I was having a conversation about this with a friend, and the more we began to talk about it, the more she began to kind of guide me into understanding that the white room actually isn't a place out there. The white room is a place right here, and I can go there anytime I like. It was a state of being, a state of making that I could drop into anytime I wanted. That really opened up my understanding of what was possible for my practice, because suddenly I didn't need this particular place with this particular light, with these particular tools in order to create. And as I began realizing that, I paired it together with this craving that I was having about wanting to be in nature more, wanting to just be outside more, wanting more solitude in my life. And why that craving showed up, I don't know, but it was really undeniable. And I wondered, what would it do to my creative process? What would its effects be on my writing? What would its effects be on just the way that I was thinking? If I just can kind of quiet it down and get more in touch with the full experience, the sounds, the smells, what might I create if I was much more of a channel? We talk about the creative process, that's it. There are two roads throughout life, and we arrive at this crossroads between them over and over again every day, sometimes in really big ways and sometimes in really small ways. And every time we arrive at this crossroads, we get to choose which way we want to go. Should is one option, but when we choose should, we are essentially choosing to live our lives for someone or something other than ourselves. Must is the other path. It is your passions, it is your convictions, it is the things that you know to be true undeniably. And when you really care about it, the thought of it not happening, or the thought of the whole world laughing at you because you have to do it, or What if I'm no good? You know, the list goes on and on. That's really the reason that keeps us back from pursuing that which is most precious to us. I guess looking back on it now, I felt like I was so far from my art practice. I was so far from what would eventually unfold on my journey. And this one dream that was coming up again and again was sort of felt like the universe tapping on me in some way, saying, hey, wake up. There's this thing inside of you. Pay attention, listen. And I made the choice. And I didn't know where it was going to lead, and I didn't know how it was going to unfold. But choosing must has been one of the greatest decisions of my life.